I want to touch on this placenta again, y'all. As I showed y'all before in my previous video, the definition of a live birth. This is here in Georgia, y'all. But if you look in the definition of live birth and just type in live birth defined or that live birth legal definition and put your state behind it. Put it in your Google search and you should find the code in your state what they refer to as a live birth, and they're all going to say the same damn thing. It means the complete expulsion and extraction from its mother of a product of human conception, irrespective of the duration of pregnancy, which after such expulsion or extraction breathes or shows any other evidence of life, such as a beating of the heart, which is the baby. Baby got the heartbeat. Pulsation of the umbilical cord. That's the placenta. Because the placenta is attached, to the baby through the umbilical cord. Okay. Or definite movement of voluntary muscles. That's the limbs, the arms, legs, and all. The head. Okay, of the baby. Whether or not the umbilical cord, keep in mind, says whether or not the umbilical cord has been cut. That means it could be either cut or still together. It's still all a live birth. Or whether or not the placenta is attached. So whether they took it apart, whether they took the placenta apart from the rest of the umbilical cord and the baby or not, it's still, whether or not, it's still a live birth. So all of that is a live birth. All of that collectively is a live birth, whether it's connected or not. Okay? Remember, we're going back to that. Here's a little picture of it. That's the baby, the umbilical cord, and this is the placenta. All that together is a live birth if it's born. That's if it's showing birth. And, if it's showing the movement of the limb, the heartbeat, and all that good stuff, showing those vital signs, all of it is defined as a live birth, okay? Now, so all of it. So when you name the baby John Doe, all of that is still one and the same. All of this is one and the same because it's all a live birth, which is written on the birth certificate. The birth certificate, what name are they going to give the placenta? If they're going to register this thing, they're going to register the whole thing. The whole thing is alive. It's a record of an event, of what happened, of what it is that was birthed on that day. Now, keep in mind the placenta only pulsates for so long after it's been pulled out of the mother. I don't know how long it pulsates. I have not researched that to find out, but it pulsates a certain period of time afterwards, because it's supposed to. Some mothers will request for that thing to continue to be connected to the baby until it stops pulsating. Okay, because that's what's feeding the baby the nutrients. Okay, to get the fullness of the nutrients from the mother. Okay, now after a certain period of time, that placenta dies. It dies. It stops pulsating. So this is where I come up with this theory that's exactly where the name came from, all caps name, that all caps, because they do that when you're first born. They don't wait to 7 years like the Death Act, like I talked about in my previous videos. When they create the birth certificate, the name in part or in whole on the birth certificate most of the time is going to be in all caps, which signifies something that's artificial, something that's dead. In law, if you look at it, that's what it means. Look, those with the style of the lettering in the words, you'll that'll confirm what I'm telling you. Okay, so this name, so the name, that's upper lowercase John Doe, that's all caps John Doe, or however they decide to put on their birth certificate. But this is what they're monetizing right here. This is what they're monetizing. I've been hearing like they own you and they own your body, and they pledge your labor and all these different things we've heard. I've never seen any documentation that proved that. These are claims that people have been saying, but it makes more sense to say they monetized this placenta, which the mother never claims. She don't give a damn about this placenta. She want the baby. She wants her baby. She's happy. She's overwhelmed. She got a new life right here. The baby's happy, beautiful, healthy. You know, like they're happy about this special moment. So meanwhile, the placenta is being removed from the mother and being abandoned because no one ever claimed it. You just turned it in, but it's still considered, by definition, a live birth. This was a live birth as well. All of this is a live birth, whether it's attached or detached. Either way, it's still a live birth. So if you create a title, i.e. a birth certificate, for this placenta, which carries the same name as the baby because it's one and the same with the baby, they're both a live birth. Now, this is how you're actually doing it. Now, let me go back here. I was going to show something else to further I'm really just kind of showing how this stuff is. It's all about money when it comes to this placenta. Okay, this placenta. This is what I believe they're really putting on the stock market. It's not like people. They're not pledging you people because you can't claim a human being because slavery is illegal, so you can't do that. I think this even has a lot to do with when we go to. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna even go. I'm gonna go there. I'll leave that part alone. I don't want to go too far with my theories. Right here, newborn umbilical cord blood bank. Keyword bank. They're monetizing this stuff. Okay. Legislative findings. The General Assembly finds and declares that it shall be the public policy of this state to encourage the donation, collection, and storage of stem cells collected from postnatal tissue and fluid to make such stems available for medical research and treatment, to promote principled and ethical stem cell research, and to encourage stem cell research with immediate clinical and medical applications. See, they're using it for research and whatever. They keep in mind they encourage donation, collection, and storage of all this stuff. Okay, and for then this is what this is supposed to be for. They're supposed to be using it for research or whatever. All this stuff now. Keep in mind, check out these terms you saw right here. Donations for collection of, you already know donation. We talked about that when it came to the other website. You're donating a placenta is worth, donating the placenta, it's a estimated conservative street value of placenta today is $50,000 and could double or triple within 5 or 10 years. Okay. Now, keep in mind, so you can donate a placenta and get that kind of money. Now, I know the ladies, I know the women, the baby mamas, boy, be thinking, damn, I missed out on that shit. But anyway, collection, it says a collection and storage of stem cells. Now let's go to the definitions part on this, in this particular title and chapter. Okay. Let's see, permanent stem cell research. Let's see, placenta means the organ that forms on the inner wall of the human uterus during pregnancy. Postnatal tissue and fluid. Remember, we just saw that in the definition up there about some of the stuff that they gather and they collect. Okay, means the placenta, the umbilical cord, anatomic, amniotic fluid expelled or extracted from, in connection with the birth of a human being. See, you see all this. It's all considered postnatal tissue and fluid. Okay, that goes back to that definition we saw in the other thing about the findings. Okay, then we go to stem cells. Stem cells mean unspecialized or in undifferentiated cells that can self-renew and have potential to differentiate into specialized cell types. And then they talk about the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is gelatinous tissue and blood vessels connecting an unborn human being to the placenta. We already know what that is, but notice these terms right here. These are what they're talking about. They're gathering up. So when a woman has a baby, all this stuff they gather up. They use all that. Let's go back to that. Let me see. And we say when we read what a live birth is, that includes the placenta. So a part of that live birth they use all this. They don't waste too much of what comes out of a mother when she has a baby. They don't waste too much of it. Okay. So what they can monetize, they monetize. And it's still abandoned property because the mother never claimed it. She never wanted any of it. She just wanted a baby. Okay. That goes back to the postnatal right here. You just saw the definition for that. Talking about the stem cells. And that's what they use. They use all this stuff for medical and research with immediate clinical and medical applications. So they make some type of application to have all this stuff used for what they're talking about right here. For all this research and treatments and stuff like that. Now, but it all boils down to money. Now, so you already know this is probably what they're putting out in the, like monetizing when it comes to creating these birth certificates. And we're talking about the birth certificate as a bond, because it's more so like a title to the placenta. I don't think it's like a placenta, like 'cause we think it's like it's for us, like it talks about you. But it's really the placenta because you and the placenta were one and the same at first, and you can't own people because slavery is illegal. So people are talking about that's my property, my children, my baby, that's my property, and we can use biological property all we want. But by slavery being illegal, I don't see how we can attach a document to our bodies and say this is me. It was considered a part of you at once, only by record, pretty much. I'm just gonna say by record, pretty much, because you and the placenta were one and the same when you were first born. By legal definition of a live birth, you and the placenta were all one and the same, considered a live birth. Okay, but the name is in all capitalized letters, meaning it's now dead. So anyway. You could take that and run with it however you want to run with it. Let me see what it's going to say right here. Donations. Okay, creating stems network. Yeah, you can see this for yourself. It's saying the same thing. It's really going into details about how they monetize this stuff. That's what they're using. Blood banks. Yeah. I ain't gonna go through all that because that's gonna get me off topic. But I thought I'd kind of go into this about pretty much about the placenta and how we're quick to we think that they sold us into this. Indirectly they did because they used deception. Nobody's using like full disclosure when they're talking to you about this, when they're interacting with us as living men and women in these hospitals and in these courts, and like they don't use full disclosure, and they're speaking a language that we don't understand. So those are two grounds for even attacking these contracts that we're unknowingly entering into. So anyway, but I guess that's another topic for another day. But this is it just makes sense. Just like you got a title to a car, it will be like a title to a placenta, the birth certificate. That's just my take. But I'm gonna leave it right there, y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next video. I just had to go into this. This is more so about the placenta and what the states are saying they're using the mother's remains. From the birth. I don't want to say remains. The mother's the stuff, everything, the placenta and all the other tissues and stuff that they use for research. They monetize the event, the birth itself. The birth of the baby, and I believe that's where the trust creates. The trust originates from, because you have to fund the trust when you create one. And your all caps name is a trust. You got public trustees who are acting as they're acting as trustees, but they're also trying to be beneficiaries by deceiving you, making you think that you are that name and you walking in there not knowing that it's a trust and you're supposed to be the beneficiary for what they're doing, well, how they're for how they're monetizing that trust. You're supposed to be benefiting from it, not being the slave to it. And so depending on how you want to operate in the commercial world, you have to act accordingly. If you're not trying to be that name in all cap, operating that as a dead entity, then you want to make sure that you understand exactly the mechanics of what they're doing in the courts. But anyway, I'm getting a little long-winded, and I gotta get on off, and you got stuff to do. I'll probably do another video later tonight. But as for now, I'm gonna shut it down right here. EmRôs signing out.